So I know this sounds so weird. I actually had to schedule this one so that I could watch it count down because it freaks me out to count down. Hey, jump on here, girl. Come talk to me. Get on this open seat. Do you know how to do it? Please, my friend who I was just watching on Periscope. So, tomorrow on my 31-day challenge, I'm going to be talking about worship. And that's something that has always been a part of my life, has always resonated with me, but it's always really hard for me to explain in groups of people. So I figured this would kind of be my practice. I would speak openly about it before I write out my post because a lot of the things in the post, I don't know if it makes sense or not. So I have to kind of talk it out loud. And since I'm practicing with my blabs and my scoping and everything else for this challenge, I figured this would be a good thing to do, even if nobody's listening. I see I have a few people. Hi. So, okay, well, I have been in church my whole life. I grew up in church. I've turned away, I've come back, I've done all of those kind of things, but worship has always definitely been a part of that. I've been in the children's choir my whole life. I've led worship in Canada and Mexico, all over the United States for different things. Um, as an adult now, it means something completely different for my life. Hi, thanks for joining. I've got some new people. Um, and now it really is so much more than just music. To me, it's so much more than just the act of worship on a Sunday morning or whenever it is that we're in church. And that's something that I try to instill in the worship culture of the church that I'm in right now. For those of you who don't read my blog is themommycalling.com. And on my blog, I've talked a lot about my issues with the church, my struggles with my church. I actually was in a very terrible marriage for 5 years where I was trying to make it work, but it was destroying me. And when that marriage fell apart, I was kicked out of my ministry, kicked out of the church. And I struggled a lot with that. I'm now at a new church with a new family who loves me. They're for me. They support me. And I'm helping them to build a new worship program for the kids in the church because that's something that they didn't have before. And so this is something completely new for me. I've led worship with teens. When I was in youth, I was leading worship for the youth group. When I was in high school, I was leading worship at the Christian school that I was going to. So it's something that I've always done, but I've never led for children. I've never led for kids who don't even have a relationship with God at this point because they're so fresh, they're so new, they're so young. A lot of them realistically have not been through a lot in their life yet. I do first through fifth graders. So it's just a completely different environment. And as I work with them on Sunday mornings, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to get out of it, but it has blessed me so much. I go in there every Sunday morning and the kids are excited, and it doesn't matter if one week the audio wasn't working and I literally had to just pull up the words on my phone and sing a cappella for the kids, all these songs that they knew, and they were just excited and they were just happy and they were just pouring their hearts out. The same thing as there was another week where the visual wasn't working. I use videos on a screen behind me that has really cool graphics. It has all the lyrics so the kids can follow along. And one of the times that wasn't even working, and the kids still just acted as if it was the most fun thing that they've ever done. And I've been doing it for about 2 months now. And last week, I noticed a huge change in all of that because the kids, hi Kathy, thank you for joining me. I really take a hands-off approach. Like I said, this is kids who haven't been exposed to worship very much in this church. Kids who, this is not a charismatic church at all, so there's not a huge worship culture in the sense that most people would think of. I'm very hands-off when I lead them, when I teach them. I try to model what true worship is, that it's not just about actions, it's not just about the songs, but I want it to be something that's enjoyable for them. And last week, I actually stood off of the platform to the side, and I thank you so much, Noland. And so I stepped to the side and I got to watch. And I told the kids, I said, you know what, if you want to stand, if you want to sit, whatever you want to do, this is your time. This is a time for you to do as you feel led. And if you do that with adults, typically they're not comfortable with that. They need someone to tell them what to do. Hi, Douglas. Thank you for joining me. If you want to join the open seat, there's an open seat. I feel weird just talking to myself. So with adults, typically they want to be led. They want someone to tell them, hi, Giorgio. They want someone to tell them what to do. But the difference with kids is that they really like to do their own thing and they don't expect to be told what to do. So with the kids, it's been this amazing experience where oddly enough, with the adults, it would have to be a directional leading of worship where it was like, okay, let's stand. Okay, let's pray. Okay, let's sit. Okay, those different things. Versus with the kids, I can openly say, okay, this is y'all's time. Do what you want to do. Hey, Giorgio. And then they will just do it, and they do what their heart is leading them to do. And I've had kids break out and crying and raising their hands and prayer and different things that I haven't even seen the adults do. Peru, that's amazing. I'm here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the home of the Tigers. We have our game tomorrow. We're hosting for Carolina, so that's actually an amazing experience that I can't wait to be a part of. But this is my practice blab. I'm just talking through some ideas for my blog post I'm doing tomorrow on themommycalling.com. That's one of my blogs. And so I'm participating in a 31-day challenge for the month of October where we pick a topic before the challenge began and we're talking about it every single day. And my topic was being real. So I'm sharing about life behind my blog posts, which my blog is followed in over 124 countries. So it's people that I've never met, who don't know anything about me, who've never seen me, who know nothing about my life or anything that's going on. And so I really feel like this is an opportunity for people to, why don't you make up your mind? I love that. I love that handle. So this is an opportunity for people to see me, for people to get to know me, for people to get to know my heart and what's going on in my life, because it's too easy when people look at a screen and they see the words where they make up this tone in their mind of what they think it is that I'm saying, and it comes across in a completely different way than what I'm meaning to. They don't see in my daily life the way that I talk to my friends is the same way that I talk in these posts, and how much I've been through in my life and how much I've gone through, so that I'm definitely not speaking from a place of my life is perfect. Let me tell you how great everything is. I've had so much struggle and so much strife and so much hurt that I carry around with me. And the very last thing I desire is for anyone to be hurt by my words. And so part of this challenge for me is expanding social media, which of course breaking out into Blab and Periscope and all of those different kind of things that people have been doing for forever. But I kind of wish I were Amish, and I hate technology, which is my post today. I hate technology, and how this is my job, I have no idea why I even got into this. I started blogging because I'm a writer and I just wanted to write, and that was the easiest way to write and to put my writings out there. And it's turned into a career for the past 4 years, and it's opened up a community. It's opened up opportunities for me to do things that I just never expected I would do. Hi, Gail. Thank you for joining. I'm a super boring Friday night blab talking all by myself into the screen. I kind of wish someone would jump into the open seat and come talk to me. I don't like talking to myself. Hi, Mark. How are you? So my post tomorrow is going to be covering the aspect of worship. A lot of people look at me on Sunday mornings and think that the worship lifestyle is just for Sunday. It's just for at church. That if I do something on Sunday morning a certain way, that's it. That's all there is to my life. But really, how I'm acting throughout the week determines what happens on a Sunday. Hi, Brant. How are you? Hi, Yella. I love that. I love that handle. Oh my gosh, y'all are so exciting. Oh my goodness. What are y'all doing? I wish y'all could all just talk back to me because it feels really weird just sitting here by myself, talking to myself. So I had a blab earlier today with one of my fellow bloggy friends, and she ended up being late, and then she got disconnected, and it was supposed to be this amazing chat, and it ended up just being me by myself again. So I think that's just the way these blabs are going to go. Me talking into empty space. There's so much going on. I'm too ADD for all this. I think there's people talking over here, and there's Twitter over here, and then there's my phone with everyone who's watching going off over here. It's really hard for me to keep focused. I'm going to go back and watch this recording and being like, oh my gosh, so this is my third blab. I'm a professional. I'm a professional blabber because this is my very third one. Can you tell? I'm amazing at this. Yes, so I'm actually a public speaker, which is hilarious because if you put me in front of a room full of people, I could talk for 2 hours and not stop, and it's great. But something about just seeing myself on a screen and not really talking to anyone else freaks me out so much. I feel like I'm just talking to an empty room, so I'm definitely having to get used to this. But for those of you who've just joined, my name is Krista. I blog at themommycalling.com is one of my blogs, and also at bythetimeyoumeetme.com. By the Time You Meet Me is letters to my future husband, talks all about single life, things like that. The Mommy Calling is my ministry. It is talking about worship, talking about all the struggles I've gone through in my life, different things like that. It really is just showing my mess to the world, which is one reason why I love doing this, because it helps me get to know the people who are following me, and it gives them a chance to see my face and actually get to know me beyond the words and everything that's happened. So I do a lot of talking about worship. So this is my rundown about kind of what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I'm now leading children's worship, and that's a totally new experience, and I'm loving it, and it's amazing, and it's way less challenging than I ever thought it was going to be. But I've found that everything that I do throughout the week carries over, and that determines what it's going to be on a Sunday morning. And what I do in my quiet time throughout the week, my interactions with God throughout the week, definitely has a hand in how things go on Sunday mornings. And so that is what my post is going to be about tomorrow. I hope that it's a complete picture, I guess, a little bit about it, because I really have come to a place where I view my entire life as worship, where everything that I do is for God's glory, and my life is just an offering for Him, even when it's a completely messy, dirty, awful mistake that I've done. I know that God still smiles down at me and knows that He can use that for His glory and for His kingdom. So I'm not afraid to share that with the world. I'm not afraid to admit my failures. I'm not afraid to admit my mess. Yes, He definitely does. One thing that I have seen since my separation and my divorce, that was 3 years ago. When it happened, I was kicked out of church. They basically told me I would be useless in ministry. And I guess I was useless in that ministry, but I think that was because they weren't open to being real. They weren't open to being genuine. They really did just want an image, and I am definitely not an image in any way, shape, or form. I'm a little bit controversial. I don't try to be, but I come across that way apparently at times. And one of the things, yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm blessed to be in a church now that has a completely different attitude about a lot of that stuff. But one of the things that I saw was I got on my blog and just started sharing. And I shared openly, and I shared my heart, and I shared my hurt. And people came in droves. They just flocked to it. And it really was a testament to the fact that everyone is broken and hurting. And if we try to hide those things, then we really do ruin a bit of our influence. We really do prevent other people from getting to a place they can relate, definitely. It helps everyone get to this level playing field. I may be seen by some as this, leader, so I'm up here, but really we're all on the same place. We're all on the same plane. We're all on the same page. We all sin. We all sin daily, multiple times a day, whether it's big sins or little sins. It really doesn't matter. None of us are perfect. We all have our struggles. We all have our issues. We all have things that everyone has gone through. And for us to hide those things, for us to pretend like they don't even exist, and to create this level of perfectionism in our lives, I think is very harmful and very dangerous. I think Satan just can get a foothold in that and use that for him and not for God's glory, not for God's kingdom. I remember after my separation, and you can go on the blog and look at my Studies Through Scripture plan. It's 40 weeks of reading through the Bible in its entirety. And that was the very first time I ever read through the Bible. And I realized how messy the people in Scripture were, how imperfect they were, the mistakes that they made, everything that they did that I always thought that they were perfect. I always thought that it was, thank you for joining us. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm so glad that you're here. I guess growing up in church and you hear the Bible stories, you don't pay attention to the things that they were doing wrong. And you just pay attention to the fact that God called them and God wanted to use them for these amazing things. And I always focused on the amazing things. And I never focused on the things that God was using them in the midst of what they were doing. And when they were doing everything wrong, God was still using them. And so I wanted to carry that through in my life. And I wanted to, thank you. I wanted to keep going with that. I wanted that to be a testament to me that when I mess up, God can still use me. That when my life is falling apart, God can still use me, and He has still used me. And when the church told me basically to step down from my platform and hide myself until I got my life back together and then come back out and be a leader again, and I said no, because God was calling me to lead through what I was going through, to lead through my hurt and to lead through my pain. And when I chose to do that, it was blessed and it was used. And as I was reading through the scriptures after that happened, as a way to combat all of the negative voices that were coming against me. Hi, Eric. Thank you for joining. The negative voices that were coming against me, I just had to dig into the scriptures, and I had to believe that that was the truth. And I had to replace all of these lies that were coming against me with the truth of the word. And I decided to just write it out and share it. And now that Bible reading plan is used in countries all over the world. And I never would have imagined that God would do that through me in that time of the most hurt, when the church had kicked me out and told me that I was useless. But God said that I was not. God said that I was a leader and that I was useful in spite of everything that was going on in my life, and probably even because of everything that was going on in my life. It made me relatable. It made me real. It made people able to come to me with things that they never would have come to someone else with, because it's really hard for us to go to someone that we think has it all together when we feel like we're screwing up and falling apart. And so people would just come and people would just say, this is what's going on in my life. And I was able to offer counsel in situations that When I was in leadership, I don't think I ever would have had the opportunity to do that. And I see all of that as worship. I see all of that as a chance to give back to God what He deserves, because He was the one that created me. He was the one that knit all of these desires and all of these talents and all of these gifts into me. And so worship is not the fact that I can sing and that I can stand up in front of a group of people and lead them into the throne room of God. That's an immense responsibility and an amazing blessing for me, and it's a true gift. But my life throughout the week is my worship. My life is an offering to God that I pour out to Him every day, no matter what it is that I'm doing, whether it's taking care of sick kids and doing the dishes, or if I'm able to go and speak in front of a group of people. All of those things truly are my worship. It's definitely so much more than just on a Sunday morning. So as I'm growing and developing a worship culture at this church in a new way, those are all the things that I try to keep in mind. Those are all the things that I'm trying to pass on to them and teach them about, especially since I'm working with children and they're so young. And it's so fun to see them every week come back more and more excited about God, and more excited about worship, more and more excited about being open. And we talk about what they did through the week. And so many of them now just, they get it. And they're like, it's not just about Sunday morning. My life is worship. And to hear them grabbing hold of that truth and carrying it out makes everything that I do so worth it. It makes everything, all the pieces fall into place. And I can see that God is just continuing to lead and guide me, even through any hurt or trial or pain that I've been through. He continues to use it to weave through the fabric of what He's doing in my life. So if y'all want to hear more about worship and my thoughts and views on worship, you can visit the Mommy Calling tomorrow, at midnight, so in 1 hour. My 31-day post about my heart of worship is going to be going up. And you can follow me on Twitter, on Periscope, on here, all these different places. Just find me on the Mommy Calling. I would love to connect more with those who have a similar heart, with those who understand the calling that we have in this life. The encouragement of fellow community is just something that you can never get enough. You can never get enough of community, and that's what I've loved about this 31-day challenge. Is it's connecting me with bloggers specifically, but other social media aspects too. It's connecting me with people that I would never meet in person otherwise, and they are my backbone. They are the ones that are holding me up. My family does not hold me up. I have a great group of core friends in real life, but for the most part, my acquaintances, they think that I just really like to talk, and I'm that narcissistic blogger who says a lot of things. So it's always great to find people with that like-minded heart and that searching of what they can do for the world, even on a small scale, and just doing whatever it is that they can do. So thank you for joining me in my little blabby post as I just rambled on about whatever it is I'm thinking to myself to this screen. And I hope that you have a wonderful night and a wonderful weekend. And I definitely hope to see y'all around a lot more often as I talk about different things. Bye.